Hello. The blacksmith was right. It looks perfect. But upon closer inspection, the flaws really stand out.
You aren't talking about my newly stuccoed wall, are you?
Oh, not me. The blacksmith working on the upper floor.
How could that jerk dare to criticize me? You know what I say in return?
I'm all ears.
That beard that he proudly parades around is dyed. Just a meager counterfeit.
Oh, that's a low blow.
Yes, and now it's high time all the world knows it, once and for all. There we are. I hope this will teach him to shut that big mouth.
It's a real piece of art, in my humble opinion. You even helped improve the neighborhood. I think the blacksmith would really like that little masterpiece. The Masons' writing had attracted a crowd down on the street. Lucky for them, because soon, an unforgettable show was about to start. The writing of the Mason had attracted a crowd down on... Hello, good man.
What?
I think there's something you need to see as soon as possible.
What are you talking about?
Here you go. The atomic bomb. I really don't have the heart to tell you. You'd better look for yourself. It's down the street. The whole world fell silent. The birds stopped singing. Everything stood still.
Holy Mother! This beard is sacred. A Shaolin monk taught me to groom it while I was at a spiritual retreat. Since then, I've looked after it every day of my life, like a perfect bonsai.
That writing on the ground says the exact opposite.
This offense will be repaid in blood.
So I was left with my last cigarette. The one for emergency only. Yeah, emergency. Yet I'd find myself lighting that same cigarette only a few hours later. Now that the blacksmith wasn't around anymore, I could use his welder. Now the magnet wouldn't fall off the tube so easily. With the tool I'd ingeniously fabricated, I would be certainly able to lift the manhole cover.
You already found a new job, I see.
Actually, I... What? Ah! Get out of here, filthy rat!
Look what you've done! You made Spubby run away, and now it will take me all day to find him again.
Spubby? You mean you have a sewer rat for a pet? And you put a collar on him? Besides which, what are you doing in the sewers?
I live in the sewers. Not exactly in this area, though. Now, I'm on the hunt for lost technology.
Lost technology?
People throw away lots of good stuff in the sewers. Radios, old phones, even TVs. I gather and collect everything. I bet you're one of them. You feel so superior, you guys from up there.
Get over yourself, kid, or I'll take a swim and pull you by the ear.
I'd like to see that.
I'm Lars. What's your name, young bully?
I am M.
M? Do you work for the MI6 or the Men in Black?
I chose the name myself, okay? M.R.
Well, M, I need to retrieve those keys over there. I can't say it was a pleasure to meet you.
Not that I care, but careful of the current. There's an undertow in that spot.
I'm more afraid of your rat, to tell the truth. I had a bad experience once, and I still haven't gotten over it. Keep it away from me, okay? I wasn't sure I could reach it by jumping. I could have tried, but it would have been risky. Very risky.
Don't do it!
Are you crazy? Geez, screaming at me at such a precarious moment. I could fall in the water and drown. Or even worse, I could have gotten my coat dirty.
The water current is too strong here. You really risk killing yourself if you jump.
I agree. I know a good suggestion when I hear one. I thought again about the planks I saw on the HPD balcony, but I couldn't go around dragging boards with me. Besides, I didn't know how to drop one through the manhole. Too many problems. I'd have to think of another way. A rusty cage. I hope they didn't use it to dump an alligator into the sewers. Canned beans. Wow. Seriously, I go crazy for them. A bottle of the worst firewater on the market. Hey there, kid.
What do you want?
Tell me more about your childhood, thug.
I don't tell my business to the first surfacer that comes down here.
Do you mean superficial?
No, I meant surfacer. That is, a surface inhabitant.
Come on, open up a bit and share.
What a pain in the neck. When we were babies, my parents let me and my 3 brothers drop down a gutter. Then the rat you saw initiated us in the ninja arts. Since then, we've protected this filthy city.
Let me guess. M stands for Michelangelo, right?
Exactly.
Let's try again. How'd you end up living down here?
I was born deformed, and for that reason, I was put in a basket by my mother and abandoned on the Miami River. A community of penguins raised me.
Well, now that you're admitting your deformity, I can finally say out loud that you have a head bigger than your body.
Hey, that's not true at all.
Come on. It's not believable that penguins raised you.
They're great animals, you know. I really like them. Unlike bats.
For the last time, tell me the truth about your past.
To protect me from my father, a big guy with asthma who always wore black, I was raised by my uncles. The only bond I have with my parents is a scar on my forehead, inflicted as a newborn during a terrible struggle in which my mother was killed.
This time you got it a little mixed up. Have you got a twin sister, perhaps?
I'm not sure. I just know that my best friend stole the only girl around.
There you go. There was a common element in the kid's tales, being abandoned after he was born. Smell you later, kid. Those planks seemed solid despite the moisture. I used one to reach the key. The problem remained of how to reach them. Hey there, kid.
What do you want?
Listen, rascal. I need a little contribution in terms of physical effort. Take this metal tube and use it to pull down one of those boards.
This is child labor.
But I intend to reward you properly.
Then it's moonlighting.
Come on. Do you want a deal or not?
It depends. What are you offering?
Well, I don't know. Wouldn't money alone be enough?
To use it, I'd have to leave the sewers. And I really don't want that. Find something that I might like, and we'll talk about it.
Little opportunist. I thought it was better to look for another solution. The kid must only be 10, 11 maybe. He looked perfectly at ease in the sewers. Apparently he was a collector of lost technology, meaning electronic junk people throw away. About our deal, what do you think of a nearly brand new original pony remote control?
Wow! It's one of those you can control any pony device on the market with. I haven't seen one of those in years. Give me that tube. I'll take care of it.
Good job, young scoundrel. Now give me the tube back. Come on.
No way. If I trade it to the junk dealer, I'll earn enough to buy a nice stuffed sandwich.
A universal pony remote control and a wonderful iron tube in exchange for a nearly rotten board. I got screwed over by a mutant youngster living in the sewers. On the other hand... Green Dart, I'm coming to the rescue. Hey there, kid.
What do you want?
Smell you later. Back there, it was a real maze of alleys. I'd get lost. Back there, thanks to a still hand and focused vision, I was finally back in possession of my vehicle. Now, I could freely explore Miami high and low. The mannequin had been replaced with those sacks overnight. If one day I had to prove my story, it only would seem like the ravings of a madman. Then I noticed a metallic glitter among the sacks. Adrenaline flooding my body, my hand anxiously moved to reveal an empty tin can with lace tied to it. Burton repeatedly told me to wait a second whenever I was pumped full of adrenaline. That bad guy's face was haunting me. Bucatinis manacati. They treat people well around here. Then I saw it. Majestic and creepy. The symbol that attracted me at the Mosberg mansion took up a good portion of the side facing. From up close, I could determine without a doubt that it wasn't blood. After an entire night, the coloring would have assumed another shade, increasingly turning brown. Nevertheless, it properly played its role, giving me the shivers. A small yacht was docked in front at the main entrance of the mansion. On its side were the words, Blue Mermaid. A bit trite for a name.
Come in! Buenos días, señor. Do you need anything?
My name is Lazarus Bundy. I'm an investigator employed by the HPD.
La policía? They say the investigations were interrupted for today.
The inspector changed his mind and decided to send me. Modestly, the best agent in the department.
Bendita Virgen María, gracias. The more people is looking for little Catherine, and more chance we have to find her.
I agree, Mrs.
Lupe, señor, just Lupe. I'm the housekeeper of the Malsberg mansion.
Is Mr. Malsberg home? First and foremost, I need to ask him a couple of questions.
No, lo siento. He left the house a few hours ago. He said he prefers to throw himself into work than staying home waiting for news without doing anything. Estoy segura he'll be back mañana. Tomorrow, I mean.
I understand. In the meantime, do you mind if I carry on my investigation in the mansion?
No, on the contrary. Do como si fuera en your casa.
That door behind you, does it lead to the girl's room?
Oh no, esa is the room of her father, el señor Mulsberg. Unfortunately, he expressly asked me not to let anybody enter. Mr. Mulsberg was in his room at the time of the kidnapping and thinks it no necessary to invade his private space. You can find the girl's room on the upper floor. Both doors are fine.
Well, for once, things were going smoothly. Please stick around. I'll have some more questions soon.
Please do what you can.
I wasn't interested in the products. On the other hand, I noticed a side compartment containing some fresh white clothes from the washing machine. I didn't know much about music, but that sheet music was weird. If I needed it, I'd go back to get it. So that was the entrance to Catherine Malsberg's room. Both entrances were locked. Lupe hadn't warned me about that. But within me, to my core, I knew that something like this would happen. What a big face. Aw. I didn't want to read the plaque entirely, but he was related to Malsberg. A guy with a mean face and a diabolical goatee. I didn't want to read the plaque entirely. He was clutching that medallion as if it could protect him from something terrible. I didn't want to read the plaque entirely. Hello, Lupe.
Do you need something?
I'm interested in hearing other opinions about Catherine Molsberg.
We all love her in this house. Senor Mulsberg is always buried in the work while Catherine brings sunshine in these walls. Unfortunately, no obstante she's such a happy girl, she hasn't got many friends.
Her father's name is probably a deterrent for acquaintances, and above all, boyfriends.
God bless you for what you are doing for her. I just know that La Señorita is still alive.
Where does this confidence of yours come from?
Dios would never let one of his sweetest creatures be hurt.
I was going to tell her that in real life nobody is ever spared from evil, but I held my tongue. That woman was already upset enough on her own. I found the doors on the upper floor locked. It's not exactly a good way to start an investigation.
Oh, el señor must have locked them all because la policía has finished these investigations. Pero estoy segura que the key is on the upper floor somewhere. El problema es que I don't know exactly where. Do you mind looking for it?
Nah, I'm used to these kind of situations. Thanks anyway. Stick around, Lupe. Opening the door with a stool would have demonstrated excessive zeal on my part. Maybe, though, the stool could be useful to reach the higher ledge of the door frame. I thought of putting the piano stool in a useful position to reach the top of the frame. I unlocked both entrances to the room and finally prepared to start my investigation. I only needed a quick glance to realize that something inside that room wasn't as it should be. Not even a minimum sign of struggle. No item out of place. None of the typical evidence usually found at a kidnapping scene. The bed was even made. I was sure that Eric Molsberg hadn't had the room fixed up after the alleged crime. Alright, let's try to understand what happened in here. I scanned through the volumes displayed in the little bookcase. Greek history, ecology, botany, astronomy. My God, how shameful. There was no comics section. With a mirror like that, it would have been much easier to match a scarf to my clothes. I had to get one. It had been a while since I'd practiced with the blue steel. The room as a whole reflected the shy personality of someone barely beyond her childhood years. That poster was curiously out of place. It exuded repressed fury and bloodshed. An inner conflict? That side of the house faced a small backyard, where I could see an unused shed. Directly below the window was a trash can. If the girl decided to get rid of something compromising, all she had to do was throw it in the garbage. I decided to check. Strange. The bed wasn't disturbed, and yet Catherine had been kidnapped overnight. The jewelry box contained exactly what I expected. Jewels. Surely they weren't trinkets. That the girl was filthy rich wasn't exactly news. It was stuck, and so in all probability unused. The drawer contained only a few sheets of paper with nothing interesting on them, and a fiberglass bowl containing some little numbers, like the ones used to play bingo. Notes, scribbles. There was no hint or clue on those pages. I thought the room visible on the lower floor was Eric Molsberg's. I've always suffered from a strange phobia. Strangers' bathrooms terrify me. The bathtub was monumental. Tiny and intricately detailed tiles surrounded the external ceramic. A little outdated as technology. Who still uses a projector these days? Was the girl fond of antiques? Well, it didn't seem like a replica. The Molsbergs must have had a considerable fortune. When I was a kid, I always dreamed of wearing one of those shiny suits of armor to parade around the city. Who am I kidding? I still dream of it. It seemed authentic. The Molsbergs even had a coat of arms. was time to act.
Who are you? And above all, why did you knock down the gate? It was open.
Oh, are you sure? Well, anyway, I'm surprised how many people don't read the newspaper anymore. I am. Lazarus Bundy! Lars to friends, but you can call me Bundy, Mr. Pirate. I'm the detective assigned to the case of young Catherine.
I'm relieved to see you here. That poor girl doesn't deserve what's happened to her.
Spare me the platitudes and don't go very far. I want to question you personally.
I'm not going anywhere. As if I could. They haven't given me a holiday since '95.
Hello, good man. Cut the small talk and tell me everything you know about the crime.
It was late at night when from my shed out back, I heard a loud crash. It gave me a shock. I rushed outside and found Mr. Mulsberg in his robe. I don't know if I was more upset by that spectacle or the sign on the facade.
So you live in the vicinity. The kidnappers were reckless. You could have seen them.
The mansion is really dark at night and very isolated. We're more vulnerable to these sort of crimes than you think.
What do you think was the reason for the kidnapping? Excluding money, obviously.
Catherine was a very joyful girl. Everybody loved her. But then she refused to leave the house for months.
How come?
I don't know precisely. I mind my own business.
You have a very special talent.
I started for fun after watching a movie, and to my great surprise, I found out I was good at it.
Congratulations. This beaver came out really nice.
Can't you see it's a horse?
Stick around. A chicken house. A chicken coop? I mean, a cage for chickens. In this case, there was just one hen, but a very fierce-looking one. A harsh-looking hen. Come here, sweetie. I was suddenly hungry for broth. That egg was huge. I understood then why the hen had those bloodshot eyes. The back of the house revealed a separate floor. Clearly, the back area was reserved for the servants, and they kept it hidden from sight. The dog bowl displayed the name Bridget, and yet a quick look was enough to make me realize the terrible oversight. It was clearly a male specimen. At least they didn't force you to wear a polka dot skirt, my friend. Here, Bridget. Come here, sweetie. Something in the look of that dog told me it didn't want to play. Another one of the gardener's creations. That flamingo was really well done. Buzzing, threatening, potentially lethal. They contained grain and animal feed. I was fond of that feed. It tasted like ham. If my assumptions were right, maybe I would find something useful in the middle. At first glance, I didn't see anything unusual. Then, from the filthy depths of that abyss, something emerged. As my friend Frank would say, bingo. Literally, had I worked this hard just to recover a bingo card? Yet, my intuition urged me to persist with that bingo card. Lupe had already put the stool back in its place. If there's one thing I really hate, it's people that can't stand anything left out of place for more than 5 minutes. Although I wasn't able to find all the useful clues, I managed to set up the correct code on the bingo card. This creates a sort of time paradox. How could I know that I had set the right code? The answer can only be, it's an Easter egg. There were a bunch of numbers: 11, 23, 8, 52, 72, 36, 61. They had to mean something. Those numbers had to mean something. What if they were a clue to the bingo card I found? Some of those numbers reminded me of something. I was sure I had set the right code. The first clues to suggest it were the numbers inside the drawer. Based only on those, though, the possible combinations would be countless. I got the key to reading it from the envelope I received the morning before. The lunatic was toying with me as a cat does a mouse, and yet I couldn't help but continue going down that road. The card was the right size to be inserted into the projector, almost as if it was specifically created for it. I felt like an old man hearing the final number called, the victorious one. I had done it. The peculiar angle of the holes directed the beam of light toward 3 specific points on the bookcase, highlighting 3 syllables: Bal, Sa, Mo. Balsamo, Italian for balm. Why did Catherine leave a clue in Italian? No, I was confused. All that work just served to lead me to a hygiene product? As weird as it might seem, the message hidden in the young girl's room led me to the word balsamo. It's Italian for balm. Still unsure of what I had just found, I took the product in question and looked at it more closely. Nothing. No writing, creases, or rip on the label. No tiny objects hidden in the gooey interior liquid. Just a simple damned balm. For that first day of investigation, I conceded defeat. I'd lost half a day risking my life on unstable makeshift ledges and in smelly sewers. I lost the other half playing bingo with the ghost of the person I was trying to find. Oh, and came away with sticky soap bubbles in my pockets. Yet, I couldn't think of anything I should have done differently. In a way, I was sure I had moved one step closer to the truth. There was going to be no ransom. The egregious Mr. Molesberg would have been waiting in vain until I found something.